Հարգելի բարեկամներ, վերջերս խաղաղության միջազգային օրը նշվեց Բրոնքս մյուզեումի մեջ, նախաձեռնությամբ ATOP Meaningful World կազմակերպության ղեկավարությամբ դոկտոր Անի Քալաջյանի։ Այժմ սիրով ուզում եմ ձեզ ներկայացնել մեր պատրաստած ակնարկը այդ մասին։
Each year in September, the International Day of Peace is celebrated around the world. As in previous years, ATOP Meaningful World collaborated with like-minded co-sponsors to celebrate peace at the Bronx Museum of the Arts in New York. This program featured award ceremony of humanitarian and peace building in the world, art exhibition of youth inspired with peace, live world music performance, and homemade healthy reception. ATOP Meaningful World, which was founded by Dr. Ani Kalajian, is dedicated to fostering a meaningful, peaceful, and just world in which every individual enjoys physical, social, economic, and spiritual health. After welcoming remarks, the event began with a meaningful world tradition of moment of silence, followed by singer Nirvana Lucis singing one of the Michael Jackson's most loved classics, Man in a Mirror. With warm reception by the attendees, Dr. Ani Kalajian began the event with a poem she wrote.
I came face to face with the bulging eyes of poverty in DR Congo. I witnessed the chapped lips of dehydration in Sierra Leone. I cried with the neglected and abused woman in Pakistan, and I helped the young man with no legs in the village in Palestine. My Armenian ancestors endured being homeless. They were driven out of their homes, forced to walk for months through the deserts of Arabia on a march to their death. Where is God, I wonder, when I'm working in these traumatized countries? But now I realize that all of the human race, every nation has experienced the pain and sorrow of being uprooted, conquered, and destroyed, only to start building all over again. I also witnessed the raw, unadulterated, beautiful beaches in Haiti, the brilliant, peaceful stars in Lebanon, the giant mountains in Rwanda, the breathtaking waterfalls of Sri Lanka, and Armenia's indomitable Mount Ararat. As I sequester myself to reflect, balancing the good and the evil, weighing the positives and negatives of all that I witnessed, I remain in wonderment as I ask myself, do we really need the evil to be able to appreciate the good?
She then introduced the first honoree, His Excellency Bangladesh Ambassador Anwarul Chaudhuri, for humanitarian and peace-building work in the world. Ambassador Chaudhuri also served as Under-Secretary General and High Representative for the least developed countries, landlocked developing countries, and the small island developing states. Earlier in your presentation, you spoke about the importance of this day and the importance of International Day of Peace, and you emphasized that it's important for the entire world to celebrate this day today, to have a sense of unity and sense of conviction. Why is it important? Why is this important to you?
I think peace is the most important concern of humanity from prehistoric time to now. And I believe that the quest for peace is continuing forever for human being, because challenges to peace have been mutating, have been changing. So we face newer and newer challenges every year, every time. So it is very important that we establish our resolve to achieve peace. But what I have been emphasizing is that peace should start with oneself. I think unless we are personally peaceful and non-violent, I don't think world will be ever peaceful. So it is very important to start preparing ourselves to be peaceful and non-aggressive in facing the challenges of our life. We face existential challenges every time. But we need to know that we can resolve those peacefully. And I think we should focus on the younger people, on children and growing people, so that they learn to grow up in living a non-violent, peaceful world.
The second honoree was His Excellent Palestinian Ambassador, Dr. Riyad Mansour. He was appointed Ambassador and Permanent Observer of Palestine to United Nations in 2005, and since 2012 he has been Ambassador and Permanent Observer of the State of Palestine to UN. Mr. Ambassador, thank you very much for this interview. Today, of course, is an International Day of Peace, and you being a Palestinian and representing Palestine, of course, this day has a particular significance for you. How do you see the peace process with Israel-Palestinian conflict?
Well, we hope that this round of negotiation to reach its objective of reaching an agreement to end the occupation that started in 1967 and to emerge from it the independence of the State of Palestine, and to have an agreement in all outstanding issues: border security, Jerusalem, refugees, settlements, and water. We are working very hard to that objective. Many countries are helping us to that end, especially Secretary of State Kerry. And we hope within the set time, which is 9 months from the beginning of the negotiation, to reach that objective. It is not easy. It's very difficult, in fact, but we are giving it all the possibility that we can from our side.
Given a long history of this attempt to come up with a peace accord between Israel and Palestine, what do you think is different this time? Why do you particularly optimistic that something different might happen this time around?
I'm not saying that I'm optimistic or pessimistic, but we've been negotiating off and on for a long time. The Oslo Agreement was signed 20 years ago. Occupation more than 45 years ago. Nakba more than 65 years ago. We hope that by this time that the Israeli side to be tired of this tragic situation to the Palestinian people, and to come and negotiate with us in good faith, and to conduct themselves in such a way that is congruent with international law. If they come with such an attitude and behave in such a way, then there might be a very good chance for opening the door for a meaningful process that would lead to the objective that we all aspire for.
Of course, as you know, there are two authorities right now in Palestine, in the Gaza and the West Bank. Are there any work being done of uniting this so Palestine can speak as a united voice?
The split in our situation is so painful, and it is not in the interest of the Palestinian people. And we are doing, and President Abbas doing everything that he can in order to implement agreements that we have reached and agreements that have been signed between us and our brothers in the other side, Hamas, agreements in Cairo and Doha. And we hope that President Abbas to be able to form this government, to put an end to the split, and to announce specific dates for elections, for everything, presidential, for the Legislative Council, and for the Palestine Council of the Palestine Liberation Organization, to put an end to the split and to put our house in order.
Mr. Ambassador, thank you so much.
Thank you very much for having me on your network.
Catherine Case, the Meaningful World Ambassador, presented 15-minute PowerPoint presentation with photos and details of peacekeeping operations conducted by ATOP Meaningful World from 1990 to present in over 45 kilometers around the world. His Excellence Burundi Ambassador Hermenegilde Niyonzima was the third honoree from the United Nations. Ambassador Niyonzima presented his credentials to U.S. Secretary General Ban Ki-moon on October 20th, 2011. Mr. Ambassador, thank you very much for this interview. Congratulations on International Day of Peace. I have recently visited Burundi, and I was amazed by the beauty of the country, by the beauty of the people, by the hospitality, by the smiles. But of course we know that there has been a tragic past, there has been conflicts, and today on this International Day of Peace, how do you see the future of your country?
The future of my country, it is positive. It is positive because after having gone through a lot of difficulties, civil war, 10 years, we have witnessed a lot of very bad experience, to the extent that today everybody in Burundi, regardless of ethnicity, everybody is convinced that the future of the country lies in the peace and solidarity. And good enough, we've got a visionary leader.
The festive celebration also included several memorable live performances, giving a wonderful distraction between speeches, filling the room with energy and enthusiasm. The featured musicians included flamenco group with Michael Miamor on guitar, dancer Sonna Ola, Samara and Ismael de la Rosa vocalist from Spain. The art coordinator of this event, Lisa Schiller, who curated an art exhibit, made her remarks and introduced the artist and her work on display. The interns and ambassadors of ATOP Meaningful World, each holding a flag of nation, gave brief description of what peace means to them personally. The fourth honoree, Professor Maria Volpe, is a professor of sociology and the director of the Dispute Resolution Program at John Jay College Criminal Justice in the City University of New York. As an international known scholar, Dr. Volpe's work focuses largely on dispute resolution process, particularly in mediation.
It is so important to get to know people. We don't do enough of that. Get to know people around you. Smile, talk to them. Familiarity breeds trust. Who do we go to when we need someone? It's the people who we know, each and every time.
Among the honorees was also Paul Robeson Freedom School, with their founder Rahmi and Justin receiving the awards. School was named after African singer and activist Paul Robeson, with educational goal and curriculum designed to build and empower a community of youth and adult leaders. Dr. Kalajan, today is International Day of Peace. You dedicated your life on promoting peace around the world. What does today mean to you?
It's just difficult to describe in one word. It's excitement, it's passion, it's people coming together from all walks of life, from Spain, from Uganda, from Ireland and Mexico, and people, including ambassadors, being here and reinforcing the value of peace and what we are doing, how it's partnership in what the United Nations is doing and how the other NGOs and the universities and professors who got the awards are doing. So it's really kind of pulling together our resources and our energies and directing it towards peace and towards step by step achieving something that is becoming very tangible at this day and age, because in a moment decisions are made to go to war and we're not even part of that decision. So we need to be strengthened so that we can take that power in our hands and really make sure that we direct our administrators that this is not the way to go.
Tell us a little bit about your upcoming missions, upcoming project.
Yes, we're going to Armenia October 10th, and it's very exciting. Not only we're going to work with the Armenians and the situation there in terms of political conflict and leadership issues, leftover earthquake issues still, and the war with Azerbaijan, but also all the influx of refugees from Syria. And we're going to be able to work with the Syrian refugees, and we're very excited about that.
After 2 hours of great celebration, the event ended in heart-to-heart circle led by Dr. Anik Alajan. All participants held hands and connected to their heart for community peace. Each one announced the name of a country, and the entire members of the circle chanted together, "May peace prevail."